Hey everyone, this is Russell Brunson. I want to welcome you to the Secrets Masterclass, and I am incredibly excited to have you here. What you are going to experience over the next 8 weeks will radically transform not just your business, and it will, but I believe it will radically transform your life. Now, to kind of give you some context about what this event, what this program is all about, a couple of years ago, if you know my backstory, I actually started this business in the online businesses probably 13, 14 years ago now. And when I got started, there wasn't any really good training. There were some people kind of talking about stuff, and I started learning everything I could, and we started trying things and testing things. And to be honest, it was hard. Like, I don't even remember how we actually had success. This is pre-Facebook. It was the very beginning of Google. It was pre-MySpace. Like, that's how far back it was. But we hustled, and we tried to figure things out, and it was a really fun process. And for me, like, I started studying everybody I could. I started studying everything from Dan Kennedy, Jay Abraham, Chet Holmes, like every person I could get stuff on. I was studying and I was learning. And I ended up going through literally hundreds and hundreds of courses and books and trainings and seminars and mastermind groups, trying to figure out like what it was that actually had the biggest impact when it came to selling products and creating funnels and all the things that are important to actually get your message out to the world. And I spent 10 years of learning and doing and implementing. And after about 10 years, I had this idea, like I was really nervous about it, but it's like, I'm gonna write a book. And I don't know about you guys, but writing a book for me was really scary and it was time consuming. I didn't just go and, a lot of people were like record something and it turns into a book and that's it. I spent almost 2 full years, over 18 months writing the first book, which is the .com Secrets book. And hopefully you have this book right now. If not, make sure you get a copy because this is half of the curriculum for the Secrets Masterclass. And inside this book, I kind of go through everything about again, me taking every book off my shelf, every course, every seminar, and like breaking down, it's like, what are the actual things that really matter and in what order? And, for me, I'm a very visual learner. So like I would go through these courses and these training programs and these super complex ideas. And I tried to understand them. I was like, God, like I kind of get it, but I can't really see it. And for me, it always ended up me in front of a whiteboard sketching some things out until I could doodle it out and be like, oh, that's what it's saying. And I did that for years and years. And then when I started writing this book, I went through and started putting all those into doodles and into images so that I could first off understand the complex concepts and also I could help teach it to other people. And this book, when we launched it a couple of years ago, it kind of became the foundation for most people on how to build funnels and how to have an attractive character and how to communicate with your audience and how to find the right audience and your dream customers and the foundation of traffic and a whole bunch of other things. And because it took me so long and it was so much work, I swore I would never write another book again. But over the last few years, I've seen how this book has kind of transformed people. It's transformed the industry. And I have people who've told me they've read it 10, 15, 20 times and it's become like their marketing Bible. And so a couple of years ago, about a year, almost 2 years ago now, I was sitting there at a dinner conversation with somebody and I'm sitting there talking about something completely unrelated and all of a sudden I had this I'm sure you guys have felt it before, like a spark of inspiration, like you need to write another book. And I was like, I'm not ever writing a book again. It's like, no, you're right, you need to write a book. And what's funny is I had bought the domain name Expert Secrets a couple years earlier actually. And it was like, the book is gonna be called Expert Secrets and this is what it needs to be. And I was like, I'm not ready, I don't want to do this. But I knew why and I knew what was missing. This book helped with understanding the strategy, funnels, things like that. And the next book needed to be all about positioning. That's what Expert Secrets is. It's all about the positioning of like, how do you structure an offer? How do you find your voice? Like, what are the words that go on the pages? What's the message? What's the videos? What's all those important things? Like, how do you cause belief in your customers? How do you create a presentation that converts people and gets them to buy? And that's what the second book, Expert Secrets, kind of became. And this book is, for me, at the time I'm recording this, is a new book and it's getting out and I'm seeing the results from people right now and it's just been so incredibly exciting to kind of put it out there. And the same thing inside this book, we have all the doodles and the images. And so the curriculum really for this, I look at when I was in college, there would be a book and there's a teacher and there's curriculum and there's student aid and all this sort. And I was like, I want to create something similar. I'm like, but it's not the .com Secrets training, it's not the Expert Secrets training, it's kind of the blending of these two messages because this is all about the foundation, building your funnels. This is all about positioning and your message within those funnels. And these two books together really are the foundation you need to be successful online. Online or offline, doesn't really matter. This is a foundation foundation of marketing and sales. And so the Secrets Masterclass is going through these two books in order to help put everything together so you can create an actual business. Now, when we first had this idea, one of the main reasons we did it was there's a couple in our inner circle that are super cool named Brandon and Kaylin Poland. Some of you guys have probably heard their stories from me before in the past. They're in the weight loss market, and what's cool is they messaged me about a year before they joined my inner circle, and they said, "Hey Russell, we're at rock bottom right now, but we just got into ClickFunnels. We love it. We just invested $1,000 in the training, and we're gonna go crazy, and we're gonna be your biggest success story." And I hear that a lot, and I was like, "Cool, I'm excited. Good luck. Keep me in the loop." A year later, they actually came to Funnel Hacking Live, and when they were there, I was in a round table with a whole bunch of people, and Brandon came through, and he's like, "Hey, real quick, Russell, I need to tell you something. You changed my life." And I was like, "All right, thanks, man." And I was like, I don't know who you are exactly. And he's like, "You don't remember me?" I'm like, "No." And then his wife came up to him, Kaylin, and I was like, "Oh, I remember you guys. Like, a year ago, you told me you were going to be my next success story." And they said, "Right now, we're making $80,000 a month, and it's all because of everything we learned from ClickFunnels and this book." And I was like, "Are you serious?" And then that day they joined my inner circle. And so for next year, I had a chance to hang out with them here in our offices and spend time with them. And as I asked them, we have so many people that read the book or go through the training. What's the difference between you and everybody else? And they said, the way we did it was different. She said, Kaylin said that Brandon forced us to do it this way. He said, what we would do is we would go and we would start watching a video. And instead of most people that go and they read the entire book and then they go back to try to implement, but they've got so many ideas in their head now, they don't know what to do or where. Or they go and they watch an entire 5-day course and they're like, "Okay, what do we do now?" And she said, what Brandon made us do is we pushed play on a video. We watched, 30 seconds, a minute, maybe 3 or 4 minutes till there was some deliverable. We paused it and we stopped everything and went and did that. And it might take us a day, a week, a month to go get that thing done, but we did it and then it was done. Then we came back, pushed play again and watched the next section. And we stopped it and we went and did it again. And so we did that for about 2 months until our whole foundation was built, and then we were able to launch it. And that's how they launched their business. And I've watched over the last 12 months that they've been in my inner circle, I've watched the same thing as we teach something, they stop and they go and implement. In fact, in the Expert Secrets book, many of these concepts I tested out in the inner circle, and I watched everyone go and implementing and see what happened and what worked and what didn't work. And I talk about them multiple times in this book because they were always pushing the envelope and trying all the things that we talked about. And I watched their business went from 2 years ago broke to, I met them at the Funnel Hacking Live, they were in $80,000 a month, to last month they broke $1 million in a 30-day window. And it was without a product launch or anything, it was just by using the perfect webinar script inside of here, along with some other things that honestly are all inside these books. And so at that time with the inner circle, I said, "Hey, I want to do something special for you guys." And so we created an event that we call the FAT event, F-H-A-T, Funnel Hackathon. And the FAT event is something that it's not cheap. In fact, the first time we did it, we just let the inner circle members come through, and they came here in this room, sitting in these chairs. Brandon and Kaylin were sitting in the front row here, and I said, "Look, I want to go through this process with you guys in a 3-day period of time, and we're going to do it the way that Brandon and Kaylin do. We talk about a concept, we pause, we do it. We talk about a concept, we pause, we do it." And in 3 days, we had everyone in here, and we built out their entire business, and we launched it. Now, some of you guys who were in this masterclass, you also signed up for the FAT event. And if that's the case, that means you're going to be here in this exact same room with me here anytime in the next couple months doing that process, which is exciting. And some of you guys didn't or you weren't able to yet, and that's completely fine as well, because this Secrets Masterclass is kind of a virtual version of the FAT event. The way it's structured is these 2 books are going to be your lesson manuals, and you're going to be reading these as we go. But it's not going to be read the whole book and then let's go do something. It's going to be hey, read pages this to this in this book and pages this to this in this book, and then watch this video, and you're going to implement one piece. And my goal for you guys is over the next 8 weeks is to go through this process. By the time you're done, we'll have gone through both books. You have your foundation built, and hopefully at that point you guys will be able to come to the FAT event. Some of you guys who already signed up, you've already got a ticket and come. And if you haven't signed up yet, that should be your goal. When this thing is done, is to invest in the FAT event and then come here, and that way you can work with us to make sure everything is right, make sure it's working, and get this thing launched. And that's kind of the goal. Okay. Now, a couple things again I want you to understand is you start going through this training program. This is not like most training programs you've been through, where you sit there and you watch 6 hours of videos and then you hope to go, and remember everything you talked about. In fact, it's kind of interesting. Some of you guys may have heard of Jay Abraham. He's one of my mentors. And Jay is brilliant. I've gone through probably every Jay Abraham course ever created, and it was, insane, like hundreds and hundreds of hours. And Jay is brilliant, but he's kind of all over the place, teaching things teach things all sorts of places, right? And so for me, I went through everything. I'm like, oh, there's a nugget here and there's a nugget here, and I was taking things and trying to implement them, but there was no structure or order. And I remember I heard rumors about this story, and I didn't know at the time if it was true, but I found out later it was. But Jay had a student who actually loved all his stuff and went through everything, and he ended up taking 2 or 3 decades of Jay's material and took everything and then broke it down, took Jay's ADD brain and put it in chronological order and put it into a book that's now, it's nicknamed the Mr. X book. And then he went and started selling that. And the book, it was a book a little fatter than this, sold for $500, and he was selling tons of them. And then Jay Abraham found out about it, sued him, and ended up getting the rights to it. And you can buy that book. That's not my point of me telling this story. The point was Jay was kind of all over the place, and he had this student, his number one student, who came through and put everything in a chronological order. And as I read that book, I was able to get Jay Abraham, his brilliance in the right sequence, in the right order. And that's kind of how this, the Secrets Masterclass was created. I've been doing events for the last 10 years, all over the world, all over the place, teaching portions of this. And these books were my effort of putting them all into a chronological order, where it's how everything goes together. But even with that, these 2 books, everyone always asks me, is this the prequel and the sequel, or is this prequel, how does it work? And the reality is they work together. I almost wish I could have rewritten these as one book and kind of moved some chapters around and made it into a perfect sequential order. But the Secrets Masterclass, that's how it's set up. Stephen Larson, who is one of my top students, he actually went through all of my stuff, similar to what Jay Abraham's guy did. And he went through and took both of the books. He's gone through all my events for the last 10 years, and he's gone and found every single concept and said, okay, for somebody to do this, they have to know this first. So where's the clip where Russell taught this? He went and scoured all the archives and found the clip. Hey, here's the 5-minute clip. Russell teaches this concept. That's a building block that you have to have before the next one makes any logical sense. And then went through and has all these clips. So as you'll notice, when you go through the masterclass, it's kind of a couple things. First step is to read the pages inside the 2 books that are kind of assigned for that masterclass, so you understand the overall concept. Then there's going to be video clips, and some of them may seem kind of random because some of them were events I did in Australia, some are events I did here in this room, some are events I did at Funnel Hacking Live, but they're teaching you just the core concept you need to be able to implement that next step. Okay? Again, this is not meant to be you watch 6 hours of videos and try to implement it. This is the only thing you need to understand, and then we're going to stop, and then there's an assignment. You do that thing, and as soon as that's done, then you're allowed to move on to the next step. You've got to have that piece. Okay? It's hard to build a huge building when you don't have the foundation in place. Okay? That's what a lot of you guys have been trying to do, is you're building this foundation, keeps toppling over, and you're why is this not working? Because you missed the foundation. Okay? So that's what this is for, is to give you guys the foundation. So again, so you understand the structure of this training program and how it all works, is first step is read the book. Second step, go and watch each of the videos talking about a very specific thing you need to create or you need to do. Watch that, do the homework assignment underneath, and finish out the module. Now, we have the online portion, which you're in right now. You're probably seeing it all around me right now. We have the online portion, and then each week we do live Q&As where you can come in for things specific to this module and get your questions answered. Okay, and that's kind of how this process works. Watch the training, try to implement it the best you can, and then come in on the week, come in at the end of the week when we do our live Q&As. And you'll be talking to either me or Stephen Larson, or and going through and we'll be answering those specific questions you have for yourself, and hoping to get you unstuck so the next week we can unlock the next module and you keep going through it. And over the next 8 weeks, if you follow this process every single day, every single week as we're going through it, by the end of it, your foundation will be built. And you'll be able to take that now and launch your company, or take your company from where it's at and really help to scale it. Or if it makes sense for you, and I hope for a lot of you guys it will, because it'll be so much fun, you'll have a chance to come here. And you'll be sitting in this room with me, and we'll be on stage, and we'll be talking and working on things, and we'll be able to take that the last little bit and just perfect it while you're here in Boise. And so that's kind of what the Secrets Masterclass is all about. So with that said, the first thing I want you to do is get these 2 books. Hopefully you got them right now. And I want you to read the introduction in both of them. That's going to be kind of the initial foundation to help get you to understand what these books are about. If you haven't read them yet, what's important, why they were created, how they kind of go hand in hand together. So read the 2 introductions. You'll have those. And then have these next to your desk everywhere you go. This should become your Bible. Garrett White said it recently in Facebook Live inside of our ClickFunnels group, that these should be like what you're studying every single day. You should take these with you everywhere you go. This should not leave your side. This is your scripture for marketing and business for the next at least 8 weeks, and hopefully for the rest of your life. And that's kind of the game plan. And so read the 2 introductions, and then after that, start diving into module number 1, and we're gonna start going step by step in the right chronological order so you have everything you need to build the correct foundation so that you can scale and grow your company. And with that said, I just wanna thank you so much for having the faith in us to become one of our members and one of our students. Like, we don't take that lightly. I know that these kind of things, not only they cost money, they cost time, and I don't take that lightly. And so we're here to over-deliver and to help give you the foundation you need to be successful. This is the same stuff we teach inside the Inner Circle. These are the same principles we teach at the FAT events. These are the things you have to be successful. And if you miss these things, it makes it really, really hard. And so that's what this is for. And again, I'm so excited to have you here. I cannot wait to be working with you, and hopefully we'll have a chance to see you here in Boise at our event center here where we can spend time with you. And with that said, jump into the next module, and I'll see you guys on the next page.